911. What's the address of the emergency?
I need help. My husband.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
I need help. I need help. My husband was shot. I need help.
I'm going to Friday call in St. Joe Township for a shooting. Wife is advising her husband has been shot. She's advised he's no longer breathing.
I got help coming there. I got help on the way there, okay? Stay on the line with me here. Stay on the line with me. Ma'am? What is your husband's name?
Hey, back up! Whoa. No. Do you have any idea what happened here?
No, he just brought us something to eat.
Okay.
We were sitting on the couch eating, and then I just heard gunshots.
Okay.
And I ran to put my son in the room, and I came outside, and he was laying on the cart.
Okay, how many gunshots did you hear?
I don't know, I just heard a lot.
Hey, bud, I know this is messed up, but we got to get you guys out of here so we can secure this scene, okay? We got to collect some evidence and find out what the hell's going on here, okay?
This is the story of Tyrone Hassel III, a 23-year-old Army Staff Sergeant whose life was tragically cut short on New Year's Eve. He was gunned down while visiting family for the holidays. Investigators were at a loss as to who would want to harm this dedicated father and beloved family man who had no enemies, but as the investigation unfolded, shocking secrets were revealed and a sinister plot uncovered that would shock some of the most seasoned detectives. Welcome to Viral Crimes. Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more stories. This story takes us to St. Joseph, Michigan. St. Joseph is a small city located in the southwestern part of the state of Michigan, in the United States. It is situated on the shores of Lake Michigan, at the mouth of the St. Joseph River, and is known for its beautiful beaches, picturesque harbor, and charming downtown area. Tyrone Hassel III spent his childhood in the Benton Harbor region and received his education in the harbor community. He attended college for a short period of time before deciding that it wasn't the right path for him and that he instead wanted to join the military in order to serve his country. Joining the military was something he had a strong desire to do. His family was worried about him joining the military, but supported him because he decided that is what he wanted to do. After Tyrone enlisted, his relentless dedication placed him on a fast track for a number of promotions, which he eventually received. It wasn't long before he was promoted to the rank of sergeant, despite the fact that he was still a teenager at the time. He finally found what he loved to do, and it didn't seem like work to him. Tyrone not only found a good profession in the military, but he also fell in love with a fellow service member during his time there. He met a fellow soldier by the name of Kamaya Martin. He would talk about her to his family and they were happy for him. Not only was he advancing in his military career, but he had also found love. He would even talk about marrying her. The two was so in love. In the end, Tyrone decided to propose to Kamaya, and the two eventually got married. Tyrone's family fully embraced Kamaya. She would call and speak to his mother all of the time on FaceTime. She would call her mom, and she became like a daughter to his parents. Tyrone was so excited to be married to Kamaya and would refer to her as his queen. The two would soon be expecting a baby, and in February of 2017, Kamaya and Tyrone welcomed a baby boy. Tyrone was excited to be a dad. He loved his baby boy and would do anything to make sure he was taken care of. Tyrone and Kamaya returned to the United States for Christmas after spending most of the year in Korea. They traveled to Michigan to visit Tyrone's family during the holiday season, taking a break from their military service in Fort Stewart, Georgia. They were staying with Tyrone's father, enjoying their vacation until a tragedy struck less than an hour before the new year began. The couple was staying at Tyrone's dad's house, and on New Year's Eve, Tyrone went to a family gathering, while Kamaya opted to stay at home with their son. While Tyrone was hanging out with his family, he called Kamaya and asked her if she wanted him to bring her and their son some food. He was always making sure his wife and child were taken care of. She agreed and he headed home with a plate of food for them. When he arrived, he gave her the food and he offered to stay with them, but she encouraged him to go be with his family. He kissed his wife goodbye and as he was heading back to the gathering, Tyrone was shot multiple times. Kamaya saw her husband laying on the side of the truck. Kamaya Hassel called 911 around 11 p.m. on December 31st, reporting that someone had shot her husband outside the house where they were staying. Police were dispatched to the scene. When the police arrived, they found Kamaya on the ground next to her husband amidst chaos and gathered neighbors. They worked to secure the scene and tend to Sergeant Hassel's injuries.
Cyrus, can you get some tape and secure this for me?
Yep. He's right by that truck.
Man, we're going to have to get him on this cot, okay?
Go ahead.
I know. Well, let me get in there, man, okay?
Hey, back up! Whoa. No.
Tyrone's father arrived home minutes after he was shot.
You know who he
My
is?
son, this Tyrone Hassel III. He don't even live here. He live in Georgia. He's in the army.
Units, be advised, K9 is tracking down Gerald. We got footprints in the grass here too.
Do you have any idea what happened here?
No, he just brought us something to eat.
Okay.
I was sitting on the couch eating, and then I just heard gunshots. And I ran to put my son in the room, and I came outside, and he was laying on the cart.
Okay, how many gunshots did you hear?
I don't know. I just heard a lot.
Hey, bud, I know this is messed up. We got to get you guys out of here so we can secure this scene, okay? We got to collect some evidence and find out what the hell's going on here, okay? The freaking shell casings are right there. That's close. He walked right up on him. He shot him point blank.
Don't do that to me, cuz. Let it go, man.
The paramedics found a sign of life and quickly transported him to a nearby hospital. And doctors desperately tried to save his life, but sadly, doctors would pronounce 23-year-old Tyrone dead. Everyone had nothing but good things to say about Tyrone. Tyrone's father believed maybe someone wanted to rob him of his nice truck because he couldn't think of any other reason someone would just shoot him multiple times, but detectives noticed that nothing was taken from Tyrone. He was wearing a nice watch which wasn't taken. He still had money in his pocket and his phone was sitting in his truck. All evidence pointed to this not being a robbery or a random attack. This was definitely personal. Investigators continued to question neighbors about what they heard or saw that night. Investigators spoke to a neighbor that described a man that parked his car in the driveway of an unoccupied residence and walked towards the direction of Tyrone's home. They described this vehicle doing this several days leading up to the murder. This told investigators that the suspect was probably stalking Tyrone, waiting for his opportunity. Tyrone's autopsy revealed that this was more than likely a targeted hit because Tyrone was shot multiple times at very close range. This couldn't even be a case of mistaken identity because at that distance, the killer could clearly see Tyrone's face. A week after investigating every lead, a phone call to the detective's office from an anonymous person claiming to be on a military base in Georgia provided a breakthrough in the case. The tip revealed the extramarital relationship between Kamaya and another soldier in their unit. Detectives called Army investigators and they started an investigation. They learned that Kamaya was having an affair with a 24-year-old soldier named Jeremy Cuellar. Despite Kamaya appearing to be happy in her marriage, she was having an affair, and this affair was well known throughout the unit. According to one witness, Kamaya was not happy in her marriage and was leaning on Jeremy for support. Army investigations learned that Jeremy Cuellar was deeply in love with Kamaya. They relayed this information to Michigan detectives. They also learned that Jeremy Cuellar was on break at the same time as Tyrone and Kamaya, and that he was headed to his mother's house in Chicago, which is just 1.5 hours away from St. Joseph Township, where Kamaya and Tyrone would be. Army investigators also provided a description of the vehicle Jeremy was driving, which matched the description that neighbors had seen several times in the neighborhood just days before the murder. Army investigators would drop a bombshell. They spoke to a soldier that Jeremy was close to and trusted, and he told them that Jeremy confessed to him that he killed Tyrone. The soldier provided them with specific details of the murder and said that Kamaya helped Jeremy plan her husband's murder. Kamaya was providing details about Tyrone's whereabouts to Jeremy so that he could carry out the murder. He told them that they communicated through Snapchat, so there would be no record of their communication. Michigan detectives were completely shocked by this information because Kamaya appeared to be devastated at the loss of her husband. Nobody suspected that she was responsible until this information was revealed. As investigators look further, they discover a motive for Kamaya to want her husband dead. They learned that Tyrone had over $500,000 in death benefits with the military. Detectives knew they needed to speak with Kamaya, so they called Tyrone's father to bring her down to the station, since she was staying with him at the time. Investigators told Kamaya they knew about the Snapchat messages between her and Jeremy. Backed into a corner, she confessed to everything and provided her version of what happened.
When did you start making this plan that was going to happen?
This came in Korea. We planned it, but I didn't take it seriously. I can count on my finger how many times he's given him a bath. I can count on my finger how many times I've had a break after I've worked the same amount of hours that he worked, and I still have to come home and do everything for the baby. While a relationship and a bond was built between me and Jeremy, because he would always tell me, you don't have to worry about that. When me and you get together, I'll make sure you have your breaks. I'll do this for the baby. I'll do that. And it just made me really feel like that all of that was going to happen. I just felt like if I would have called it off, like Jeremy probably would have like been upset at the fact that I called it off. And I didn't want him like mad at me. I was letting him know where he was going and him being back at the house. Like he'll be on the way to the house, or he's already not, or he's already gone.
Okay. So 4 days you guys are trying to kind of get this going. So there's some thinking about this. Would you agree?
Yeah. I said, well, he's about to bring us something to eat. And then that's when he came back. So money is part of it, yes. Hurry up, he's on the way back, or don't leave yet, he's outside, or it's messages like that.
Kamaya was arrested for the murder of her husband. Detectives exercised a search warrant at Jeremy's home and discovered the murder weapon. 11 days after the murder, Jeremy was arrested and charged with first-degree murder.
First and 11, prosecutors say that a woman and her lover plotted to kill her husband and knew tonight. We're getting a look inside the mind of one of the alleged killers.
Well, Brian, good evening. The murder happened New Year's Eve, but the victim's wife wasn't arrested until January 12th. That gave her a lot of time to post on social media about how she was supposedly mourning the loss of her husband. It has all the makings of a made-for-TV movie, a military love triangle ending in murder.
But we said it, though. We said it would not be anyone around in the community because everybody knows him. You know, he's really known and everybody likes him. I never known him to have any enemies. So we said that it had to be somebody that was really close to him. And then, so to our surprise, it was his wife.
Friends of 23-year-old Army Sergeant Tyrone Hassel are still in shock that Hassel's wife and her lover allegedly killed Hassel. Investigators say 22-year-old Kamia Hassel was having an affair with a man named Jeremy Kuehler. She allegedly gave Kuehler the go-ahead to ambush her husband late New Year's Eve.
I would never think about killing my husband.
While police were hard at work investigating the murder, Kamia Hassel was busy posting on Facebook. Last Wednesday, just days before her arrest, she posted how her husband would have been proud she made the Dean's List. In another, Kamia laments about being left with the couple's soon-to-be 2-year-old son. What am I supposed to do, she asks. She even posted pictures of the man she allegedly had murdered proposing to her. And then there's these lines from Tyrone Hassel's obituary. He leaves to cherish his memory of his loving wife, Kamia Hassel. Now, those who knew Tyrone the best are left with more questions than answers.
Yeah. You have to really watch the ones that are the closest to you. It's always those. You really can't trust anyone nowadays. You have to really make sure how close you keep someone to you.
Now, tonight, Kamia Hassel is here in the Berrien County Jail awaiting her next court appearance. Her bond is set at $2.5 million. As for Jeremy Kuehler, he's also facing first-degree murder charges. He's in jail in Georgia right now, awaiting extradition.
Kamaya was found guilty of first-degree premeditated murder, using a gun to commit a crime, and conspiracy to commit murder. She was sentenced to life in prison with no parole. Jeremy pled guilty to second-degree murder and was given 65 years in prison.
The man who killed a U.S. Army sergeant from Michigan was sentenced today. 25-year-old Jeremy Kuehler admitted to killing Sergeant Tyrone Hassel on New Year's Eve near St. Joseph. Kamia Hassel, who helped plan the murder of her husband, is serving a life sentence. Jeremy Kuehler was emotional at his sentencing today as the victim's mother addressed the court. LaShonda Jones told the court that she plays videos just to listen to her son's voice and told Kuehler he does not deserve to walk the earth. Kuehler burst into tears.
I want to apologize to the family again. Sincerely. I was a fool for just taking her words and not really looking to see who he was. It was stupid. And that's not me at all. You know, I was raised right. I just had issues within my own demons. I know we all do. But what she was telling me, I told her I opened up to her and she played on it. I shouldn't have, opened up to her. I was a fool for trusting her.
I feel like God is working on him, and I heard the outburst, so that lets me furthermore know that God is working on him.
Sergeant Tyrone Hassel III was a remarkable, ambitious young man who had his whole life ahead of him. He had a promising career in the military, and his colleagues admired him for his discipline, courage, and dedication to serving his country. His death not only robbed him of his promising future, but it also left a gaping hole in the hearts of his family, friends, and colleagues, who continue to mourn his loss and still struggle to come to terms with the senseless act of violence that ended his life and left a child without both parents. Tyrone's final act was to bring his wife and child some food. That's an example of the great man he was. My condolences to his friends and family. May you continue to heal and one day find peace. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.